Hi Mom and Dad, happy 50th wedding anniversary. I hope you're having a great time this weekend. Got my trusty pocket music dictionary here. You guys gave this to me in late 5th grade, early 6th grade, I want to say. I've had it a long time and it has gotten me through lots and lots of musical experiences. So thank you for that. May have helped me pass quite a few of those music classes actually. I wanted to read you the definition of what a composition is. A composition is the art of inventing or composing music according to the rules of harmony. Now, never ever were there two people who exemplified the rules of harmony more than you two. There have been many movements in God's grand composition, that is your marriage. Not all of those movements have been easy practice, but mostly it's been an ode to joy.
Hi, Gee Gee and Tadpole. We wanted to wish you a very happy 50th anniversary. There's some other things celebrating 50 years as well. Did you know that the Big Mac is celebrating 50 years and it sold for 49 cents back in 1968? And the average price of a home was $15,000. The CBS show 60 Minutes celebrates 50 years this year, as well as the very first successful heart transplant. Who knew? The Odd Couple was a very popular movie that came out 50 years ago. The Boeing 747 took its first maiden voyage, and it was successful from what I understand. The emergency 911 system celebrates 50 years this year as well. But none of these things are quite as iconic and as special as you guys. We love you and congratulations.
Mom and Dad, happy 50th anniversary. It's unbelievable and amazing that you guys have been married for 50 years. You guys are an example and an inspiration to me and to the family over here of what marital commitment looks like. And I'm so proud of you and happy for you guys. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Tad and Connie.
50 years. Wow!
Congratulations, Connie and Tad. When you were married in 1968, only I got to attend, as there were still years to go before I met Mark.
Do you remember the gas cost 34 cents a gallon and a new car was less than $3,000?
Imagine being able to buy a new house for $15,000.
Those were the days.
We will miss seeing you at the reunion. Yet, know you all will have a wonderful 50th celebration. And here's to many more. Love you.
This is Anne and
Alice.
Congratulations
And a
on
toast.
50 great years on this toast. 50 great years of marriage with respect, support, encouragement for each other, and
Always making us feel welcome and right at home. So,
cheers.
cheers.
Hello, Tad and Connie. This is Dale Berry. I am here to congratulate you on your 50th wedding anniversary. And I'm very grateful that Mary Beth and I get to travel with you to the island of Lesbos, the mainland of Greece, Czech Republic, and Germany come July. I wanted to tell a brief story about when I was a lay reader at St. Matthew's under your leadership. And I remember being back in the room behind the chapel there, and we had a guest speaker. J.I. Packer was with us. And I remember J.I. Packer asking you, Tad, if you had any vestments for him to wear. And you said, yes, I've got some extra vestments back here. And J.I. Packer said, I'm very thankful you do, otherwise I would be ecclesiastically naked. So that was one of my favorite lay reading memories. And then the other one was when at the end of the service, it was a high church Sunday, so that the lay readers and the priests were to consume all the elements. And we had somehow overestimated the number of bread wafers and the amount of wine. And so I remember being to your left up at the altar with you, Tad, when you handed me this plate full of wafers and said, here, eat these. And then you handed them to the other lay reader. Here, eat these. And so we're all three munching the wafers as fast as we can. And then, ironically, you hand me a large chalice of wine and say, drink this. And I'm sitting there going, but I don't generally drink wine. But I didn't say it. I just obeyed and ended up consuming the wine in the chalice. Mary Beth was in the congregation, and I think she said to her friend nearby, Dale has never had that much wine in his entire life. And that was true. So anyway, that was a great memory. I didn't really feel the effect of the wine. But anyway, congratulations to you both on your 50th, and I look forward to traveling with you in Europe in July, and we'll see about the wine in Europe.
Congratulations on your 50th wedding anniversary. I think that picture behind me of our parents, Tad, was their 50th. Well done, you two. Like most of us of that generation, we were just kids when we got married. Ted and Connie were just kids. In 1968, I'd had my second child. And I remember their party. I don't think my daughter was very old at that time. The engagement party, where going home we hit ice and turned upside down in our car. That was one of the things I remember. I don't know what the hip music was, unless it was a child crying, because that's what I heard a lot of. And weekends, we stayed home on weekends because we had little kids and no money. About that time, I think Mother and Daddy lived in Middleburg. Tad must have been, well, I guess he wasn't just out of grade school, but perhaps he was out of college or maybe seminary. He was still just the bratty little brother. There was a formal wedding in Leesburg, and I know that Mother wore a hat because I'm quite sure she did, and I'm quite sure I did not wear a hat. Then let's see, years went by, and they went to that strange place called Alabama, and they came back to Richmond, and then Mariah and I helped them pick out trimmings for the house. I can remember sitting with the builder, and Mariah Smith and I were helping Connie look at what might be good and what might not be good in that house, or as trim for that house. And then on the river, Tad raised oysters illegally. We ate them, and nobody came after us, and we didn't die, so I guess raising illegal oysters is an okay thing to do. Meanwhile, Connie was painting watermen, and she was doing an extraordinary job of painting because she had given up her jewelry making, which was equally as wonderful. Then, I always wondered what Connie saw in Tad. I mean, he was just the bratty baby brother that I hit over the head with a candlestick. I can imagine what Tad saw in Connie. I mean, she was creative, she has a great sense of humor, she's fun to be around. but I don't know about the other way. So I am quite sure that Connie is a better driver because Tad wouldn't know which eye to look out of. You two, happy anniversary. 50 years is quite a milestone and it's very impressive. And we look forward to seeing you more. We have loved traveling with you all because that's the other thing we did. And we have some great memories of and stories from France and Italy and Capri. And yeah, lots of stories. And there's a picture of us behind me of Capri. It was quite an adventure. Love you both.
Hello, Tad and Connie. It's Penelope, and I'm here with my production team, Henry, who is helping me with my lines, and George, who is the videographer.
I'm sorry, I can't really turn this around, but...
Well, I'll turn it around later so we can see. I just want to say a few things about the two of you. Tad, I've known you all of your life. All of your life. That means I'm older than you. And Connie, I've known you for more than 50 years, and I am so glad you have come into my life. Both of you are so compassionate and caring. You give new meaning to those terms. And you are hikers extraordinaire. You travel, you know how to travel first class and last class, all in way of making the world a better place. You've been following your call for years, and with your entrepreneurial spirit, you started AFM, and you actually run a bed and breakfast for all sorts and conditions of men and women. We are all blessed to have you both in our lives, and I'll be thinking about you on your anniversary, 50 years, a half a century. So much love and blessings to you both.
Hey Connie and Tad, happy 50th wedding anniversary from your cousins in California. Love to you.
Tad and Connie, you're 50 years together. Congratulations. I got this hat from Nepal. You love Nepal. I love that about you. Well done.
Hello Tad and Connie. Very happy 50th wedding anniversary from John and Joe in Cambridge. We met you in 1982. 1982 or 1983 when we came to Richmond, Virginia for a life-changing few weeks when we helped with the Oxford team.
So Tad, Connie, you've been married 50 years. When we met you, you'd been married 15 years, and Joe and I had been married 1 year. And you were a fantastic example to me and Joe about what makes a great married couple. Because you always put people on the edge and you brought them closer to the centre. You had a bumper sticker that said, "Live simply just so that others may simply live." And you were always interested in people on the margins and places in the world that had been forgotten. But you were also really creative and really committed to each other, and you drank lots of tea. And we loved so much about you both.
My favourite thing about Tad and Connie as a couple is their spirit of adventure and them being up for anything, such as sleeping rough in England when you did the Cornish coastal walk.
So many favourite stories. So much laughter. Knee-slapping laughter. Laughing till we cried so often. And maybe the time we cycled to Blenheim Palace from Oxford together, and me killing myself laughing at you approaching a roundabout and not having the foggiest idea what to do. They say actions speak louder than words, which is just as well, because my words to describe you, Tad, would be utterly incomprehensible. I don't understand what you're talking about most of the time, but it doesn't matter because I love you.
My one word for Connie would be kind and friendly. If ever I need inspiration, if I'm feeling a bit grumpy and I need to be nice to people, I always try and channel Connie. And my word for Tad would be quirky. And what I would wish for Tad and Connie is peace and joy.
Happy 50th wedding anniversary, Ted and Connie. We love you.
I'll start. I remember asking my mother when Connie and I first became friends. And my mother said, before you were born, when you were in utero, Helen and Agnes, my mother and Connie's mother, were in a lot of, as were many of your mothers, in the same activities together.
Yes.
They were in Club 24 and
the church,
the Garden Club, the Leesburg Garden Club. They were all doing the same things. And we were all born about the same time. In this very small town. Our fathers all knew each other. Mother had stories about they would have their little club meetings and there would be a playpen back in the days when children were put in playpens. That's a no-no now, but back then everybody had a little playpen and they would stick us all in playpens and then the moms would have their little meeting and this would be me and Connie and you and maybe you when you were in Leesburg. And so there we were, friends before we could talk and anyhow. So how long have we been friends? All of my life, I think since the moment I was born. And Connie always was, as she is today, kind and sweet and good and a wonderful, wonderful friend.
The old room to tomb type friendship. And as what Lala said, when I try and think back of times that we had together,
Kirsten?
Your mother's a pistol, you know. Yeah, I would love to put angel wings on her, but I can't. I remember us scraping plates of food that we did not like down into the air pipes of off the porch, you know, because we didn't want to eat them. God only knows what happened there. Yeah. She was a pistol. She's a pistol.
Funny.
Oh, and all the horse races that we'd go to, and
She used to ride with Colonel Riley.
Yeah. Yes. Riding with Colonel Riley.
She had mentioned that in the past. She did that for a while, right?
She did, and she didn't have horses. I had horses, and none of these.
I never did.
A lot of people in Leesburg had horses. Connie didn't, but she rode. Colonel Riley let her ride his horses, and they were the best. I mean, they were the fanciest dressage and event horses in the county. And she learned to ride with Colonel Riley and loved it dearly.
Well, what they told me today is that they fell in love immediately. They knew that the other person was the right person to spend the rest of their lives with. And they're still as much in love now as they were then.
I got another reason for that too.
Okay.
Is the fact that Tad and Connie are the dearest and bestest of friends to each other. And they truly, truly like each other and have fun with each other.
They do. That's a good one. I've got one too. I think they're both fundamentally spiritual people.
Yes.
And they respect that in each other, and it builds the
1 + 1 is greater than 2 because of their spirituality.
And they have this desire to help other people.
They do.
And they agree on that as well. For example, is it this summer that they're going to Lesbos to work with refugees?
Yeah.
And that's just so impressive.
And India, and Nigeria, and oh my God.
All the other places they've been to help people.
Well, and not only just, I mean, don't take them out of the country. I mean, here at home, the things that they have done to help in their own community. I mean, they're just good people. Good people.
They support each other in their passions. Tad's been incredibly supportive of Connie's art and the way her art has evolved to become more and more spiritual. And I mean, how fulfilling is that for both of them, I think. He's been really supportive. And she supported him being a minister. Oh my God. It's the worst life in the world.
Oh, I remember.
Who wants to be a minister's wife?
When they first got married and they were in Tom's Brook, in the valley, and going to see Connie in this huge parsonage. I mean, it was huge, and there were just the two of them in this huge place in Tom's Brook, Virginia, which is not the most enlightened, exciting place in the world to be. Oh my heavens to Betsy, it was like I was thinking to myself, oh, Dad, where have you brought my dad? God, that was something.
She supported him forever.
Yes.
Because it was his passion.
And I think we all agreed from the get-go that they were just a fabulous, fabulous couple, and they loved each other dearly and cared so much for each other. They were so selfless, and so, I don't want to cry, but they were just a dear, always a dear, beautiful couple together from the get-go. I can't imagine either one of them without the other.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I remember being in her wedding as a bridesmaid, and it was one of the few times I came home to Leesburg, and I always loved to come and see your mom because she was so sweet and kind and such a good friend, and at least we knew it at that very early age that we were all together there, and I don't want to say too much because I'll start to cry. Okay. I'm already doing it. Oh God! But she, I don't remember the wedding at all.
It's been 50 years. I mean, hey. Do you remember anything special about her dress?
Oh yes, it was familiar to me. Yeah, she wore my dress, as did Lila and my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, and later.
Connie wore it right after you.
Yeah, she was the first one.
After you.
And
You were the first person.
And
You
then,
were the first one.
Yes.
Then
And then Connie, and then
I was
Lila,
number 3.
and then my sister-in-law. No, by the time Lila wore it, the thing had been cut to nothing. I mean, Lila is shorter than we are. And so it was, I can't even, well, there's
It
no
was
way
a beautiful dress.
It was a nice dress.
All right, now tell about Connie.
Well,
did you help her get dressed?
I don't remember that.
You know, I don't either.
I don't remember any of that. I only remember standing in the beginning before we had to walk into the church, and you know, as in the bridesmaids and all that business. And was it after her wedding? It was after her wedding that I had to go to Dulles to pick up my husband, who was coming in from Charleston, West Virginia. And I was in my bridesmaid dress, running up and down the Concord at Dulles to try to find Charlie. And I remember that dress, everybody turned everybody's heads. Didn't have anything to do with me.
4 years later, when I was married, that I wore that same dress that had originally been Kirsten's wedding dress.
That's amazing.
And then
Did you not know that?
Stancy's. You didn't know that? And I was the third one to wear it in '72. And Kirsten and her mother, Aunt Helen, hosted a party.
No, Kirsten's mother was...
I'm sorry, not Kirsten, Connie. Sorry. Connie. Where's my wine?
Come
Well,
on.
obviously you don't need it.
And
Her mother, Aunt Helen, hosted a party for Dudley and me after our wedding for our friends out at the cabin
Oh,
at
out
Goose
at
Creek.
the
Y'all
cabin,
remember?
I remember that.
Y'all remember the cabin at Goose Creek? Yeah, you didn't know that. Eve didn't know about the cabin at Goose Creek.
Well,
Whoa.
maybe we shouldn't have said
Whoa,
anything.
maybe we shouldn't go there. Anyhow,
Did they stay
so
out
there was the wedding and then the reception and then everybody dispersed and then the young people were all invited to the cabin, the Williamses' cabin.
Okay.
And we still have some old videos of that party. It was fun. Oh yes.
Oh, I'm sure we had a
We
wonderful
had a
time.
fabulous time, and that was such a nice thing for Connie and her family to do
And
for
didn't
Dudley and me.
Didn't Connie and Tad stay out there that night after everybody left?
I don't know who all stayed out.
Well, I did.
So yeah, I have to ask if you could wish them anything for their 50th. What would you
Artichokes
wish?
and onions.
More of what they've already had.
Oysters and health.
I just think they're such wonderful people that I hope they can enjoy many more years of happiness together.
And I'd add bourbon to my oysters and health as well. Oysters, health, and bourbon. Yeah. That's what I'd add.
Happy anniversary! I love you, Gee Gee and Tadpole.
Kind. Funny. Caring. Thoughtful. Generous.
He bakes a lot? I don't know.
Running.
Running.
Chickadee. She always says that. Chickadee.
Oh, right, chickadees.
All right.
He says something like, what you gotta say.
What you gotta say?
Yeah,
What
what
you
you
gotta
gotta say.
What you gotta say?
He always says like, this what? In like a way. Yes.
Alright, chickadees is the number one thing.
Can anybody do
yes.
Gigi's whistle?
I got braces. I can't do it.
That sounded like it.
Mm-hmm. I can't whistle. Neither can I.
What is their favorite thing to do with you guys?
Oh. Go to Carytown.
With me and Ethan, we always go to their house for breakfast on Thursday mornings. I just swim all around the deep end. He pretends to throw us around the pool, and then he says, "Now I'm gonna take you to Rome. Now I'm gonna take you to Texas. Now I'm gonna take you." Oh yeah, he did that with me today. It's really fun.
First on this one, what is something that Tadpole has taught you?
The Lord's Prayer? About God. Yeah. And how to bake bread.
And how to bake bread?
Yeah, Tadpole taught me like baking tips, kind of. Yeah.
And what's something you've learned from Gigi?
To paint
Yeah?
and gardening.
And gardening?
Yeah.
What about you, Sydney?
The same thing. Same thing.
Same thing?
Mhm.
Same answer, samesies. Okay.
And some card games.
Ooh.
Slapjack.
Here's the real question. Who can play gin rummy the best?
I don't know what gin rummy is. What's gin?
And the answer to that is Sydney's mommy.
What? Fortnite.
What's a good game Gigi and Tadpole have taught you?
Old Maid.
Ooh, that is a good one. And have you taught Gigi and Tadpole how to play Fortnite?
No, they wouldn't like it.
Why not?
Because it has guns.
So, what do you guys think happened in the 60s?
If they got married,
they kept dancing.
they got married. Was there good music?
Well, yeah, they did. I don't know. You tell me what kind of music was
They
in the
got married.
60s.
Was disco a thing?
Yeah,
Disco?
it was disco. There
Yeah,
were a
disco.
ton of hippies and
They were trying to hit. Do you think who was a hippie, Gigi or Tadpole or both?
Gigi.
You think Gee Gee was the hippie?
I can see Gee Gee being hippie.
Why was Gee Gee the hippie?
She likes to draw and like.
Don't hippies like all natural things?
Yes.
Well, she likes all natural soaps and she likes the naturalness. She likes gardening, which is natural.
Yeah. So what else happened in the 60s?
Martin Luther King.
What kind of music do you think Tadpole and Gee Gee listened to back then?
Opera.
Really? You don't think they listened to like the Beatles and stuff?
And maybe. But I think they mostly listened to opera. They got married.
They did get married. You're so funny. So what kind of wedding, what do you think their wedding was like?
It was probably at a church.
Probably like a wedding.
Probably like a wedding. Tadpole's dad was probably the
minister.
No, how would that work? It wouldn't work.
Yes,
Why? Why wouldn't it work?
Why wouldn't it work?
Because he couldn't preach and say, like, you may now kiss. And then, like, he has to go all the way off stage. All the way.
But he did. Sydney's right.
Oh, yes. What?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Tadpole's dad was a preacher too.
And it's at a church.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Froggy, our Pop, was a preacher too. Pretty cool. Froggy and Tadpole, exactly.
And Eve, okay? Ethan, is there anything that you know of that is as old as Gee Gee and Tadpole have been married?
A few pennies that they were showing me last night.
Pennies?
Mhm.
From what year?
Yeah, they were showing me all these weird coins that they have collected and.
Do you think they had the same money when Gee Gee and Tadpole got married?
Yeah.
We had regular American currency?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think money was the same value that it was? How much do you think? How much do you think a cup of coffee cost in 1968 when Gee Gee and Tadpole got married?
I think like 50 cents.
50 cents.
50 cents for a cup of coffee?
How about a loaf of bread?
I think that would cost like $1.
Yeah.
What about going to the movies?
Let's see, $5.
Okay. What do you think the best dance was like back then? And can you give a demonstration?
What is it called? Disco.
Disco? What's disco look like? Okay, who do you think discoed better, Tad or Connie?
I think Gee Gee would.
What do you think their favorite TV show was back in 1958? 68, excuse me.
I'm gonna have to say soap operas.
Soap operas. What do you think was Tadpole's favorite soap opera?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know any soap operas.
I know what their favorite soap opera was.
What?
I think it was Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guys tell me what was Tadpole's favorite kind of beer?
Bud Light.
Wait, he drank beer?
Yeah, it's Bud Light. It's Bud Light. I know it. He always has Bud Light cans or Bud Light bottles in the dishwasher. Oh yeah, he hides them in the dishwasher.
I think it was either Pabst Blue Ribbon or Black Label.
I don't think that. I think it's Bud Light.
Yeah.
It's Bud Light.
What kind of car did they drive in 1968?
The red truck.
Honda.
The red truck.
They drove the red truck?
Honda.
I think like one of those old carriages.
An old carriage?
Honda.
Where did they live then?
A house somewhere.
Somewhere.
Virginia.
Yeah, I know they lived in Virginia.
Chesterfield. No, by the bay.
Where do you think that Gee Gee and Tadpole went on their honeymoon?
Oh, West Virginia. They went in a little cottage and they said they hated it.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Yeah, happy 50th anniversary.
And we are just loving the idea that we can be sitting in the rector's pew with you all. Thank you for inviting us. And
it's always been a pleasure to follow you, and I'm glad that we're also going to follow you in this long marriage relationship, and what a witness it is to everyone, and we love you guys. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary, Tad and Connie. We're so excited to be a part of this special surprise to you, to wish you a happy 50th anniversary. You guys were such an awesome example to us as we started our ministry, as our first people that we really looked up to when we started our path to be a parish priest and his wife. And we're just so thankful for those times, those 6 years that we had at St. Matthew's with you.
I still remember vividly that first lunch in your kitchen with grilled cheese sandwiches with mustard when we were interviewing down there, and knew that that was going to be the place. And I'm very thankful for our time together, for the example that you've always been of faithfulness to Christ and his call. And we wish you all the blessings on whatever God has before you after 50 years.
Love to
Happy anniversary.
And love to your kids and your grandkids and their spouses, and it'd be great to catch up sometime.
Hey Tad and Connie, it's Elizabeth, just getting ready to head to work, but I wanted to wish you guys a happy 50th wedding anniversary. I hope you guys have an amazing time. You have so much to be proud of. Love and miss you, and I hope to see you soon.
Hi, Connie. Hey, sorry. No, you go first. No, we just wanted to say happy 50th anniversary from the three of us.
And we love you more than anything. And we're sitting at the table because we think about all the times that we loved where we sat with you around tables. And we think that Nana would be sitting, that's why we got these around us. Nana sends all of her love too. And she thinks of, and we think of all the times when you guys had a great time together. And I think of the times around the table when we talked about South Africa and drank Southern Comfort, and Johnny thinks about the times when he drank both Nikki and Lacey's weight in beer when they were born, and we love you both, and we love you together, and we all parts of us love you. We can't wait for you to hear about a great party you're having.
Yes.
And we wouldn't even be here if you hadn't helped us with the last house and all the things through the years.
We love how much you tease us about Mom being late for things.
And we love everything.
And she's late for everything.
And how about you, darling? Say happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
And have a great time, you guys. We wish we were with you.
We hope to see you soon.
God bless.
We love you.
Love you.
50 years. Goodness gracious, that's a long time. You guys don't seem to be even that old. We're down here on our beach on the Severn River, and I'm thinking of you all up on the Potomac and on Hall Creek. Hall Creek was a place that was near and dear to my heart because my family had 3 generations in the cottage up on Candy Point. And the only thing we're missing down here is the Pabst Blue Ribbon. We're down here with Nikki, who's filming this, and Lacey and Brian, and we all wish you a happy 50th anniversary. We miss seeing you, and I hope we can remedy that before long.
Hi, this is Tabitha. I want to start this video from "If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here." On the other hand, I want you to also see, if not for you, Connie and Tad, I wouldn't be here. And your life is fruitful, I want to say, and thanks be to God. Connie and Tad, if not for you, I wouldn't be here. So may God bless you with more favor and abundance. and all those whom you love will be as fruitful. And I pray this in Jesus Christ's holy precious name, with heartfelt gratefulness and thanksgiving to all you have done and all the blessings you have been to me. Amen.
Hey Ted and Connie, happy anniversary. I'm so thrilled that your kids are putting something together to make you guys feel special. Eve asked me to send along a story from our time in Nepal, and I'm not going to tell the story, but I'm going to set up the story, and I'm going to insist that Tad actually tells the story, and you'll find out why in a moment. First off, he could tell it way better than I could, and secondly, it was one of those moments that was very uniquely Tad. We were on a month-long trek through Nepal, hiking up to the Torongla mountain pass, 17,000 feet, and I came down with altitude sickness. The other guys, I think, went along and headed on up the mountain. Tad came down with me, and of course I was disappointed. I'm sure Tad was disappointed because that was his shot to get up to the pass. But Tad lightened my mood by, and here's the setup, and I'm going to ask Tad to finish the story, by stopping in his tracks, disrobing down to some green underpants, and asking me to take a very important picture for him to send to somebody. But I'm going to let him finish that story in a minute. Let me just say that I cherish you guys. You were sort of safe and stable and a welcoming house to come into during a time that, you know, just like most kids in high school, were sometimes turbulent times. So I want to thank you for your kindness and your caring, and on into adulthood, your friendship, and putting up with me and Channing's antics and whatnot. But crazy about you guys. Wish you a happy anniversary. I'm sure you're surrounded by people that love you today, and there are way more of us that can't be there today that love you too. So, Tad, it's time to fess up.
Connie and Tad, this is Susan Haggerty. Just want to wish you guys a very special and lovely 50th anniversary, 50 years. Wow! We first met you when we moved to Richmond in 1991. In fact, you're among the first people we met. And we've enjoyed that friendship over the years, down to the river and back to the city, and other adventures, such as Tad and I going to Nepal in 1993. It's been a lovely adventure with you guys, and I just want to wish you all the best. Love you.
Hi, Tad and Connie. This is Alice, and my favorite memory of trekking with you all in Nepal was how Tad mastered the form of drinking from his water bottle as the Nepalese do without touching it to his lips. Connie, I think you did get the hang of this as well, too, but I'm still working on it. As you can see, I'm going to need some more practice. This shirt I purchased in Nepal after seeing a design that was similar. So it could convey sentiments for your 50th anniversary. Looking back at what a long, strange trip maybe it's been in some ways. At the time I bought this in Nepal, I had no idea it was a Grateful Dead lyric. I just thought it was a popular sentiment.
Well, this is from Beth and Norman, but I'll start. We would just want to let you know, Tad and Connie, that we wish you a very happy and wonderful celebration of your 50th wedding anniversary. 50 years, my goodness. Well, one of the things that Beth and I wanted to talk about is how we met you first. And my first meeting of you was through a letter that you sent. I distinctly remember the day I went up to the 3rd floor of our mud and stone house with a thatch roof in Badichar, western Nepal, where we thought it wasn't the end of the world, but you could see the end from there. And I sat at this hand-hewn wood table that a carpenter in our town had made for us, and I opened this envelope and I read this amazing letter that you guys wrote saying that you were interested in what we were doing and you wanted to know more about unreached people groups and what were we doing in terms of unreached people groups. And the most important thing that happened to me out of that meeting was that I began to really renew my efforts and my energies at trying to define who are we trying to reach, and praying about that and asking God to show us, what did you call us to Nepal to do?
Hi, Tad and Connie. I remember meeting you for the first time when we drove down to Richmond, Virginia, and we were welcomed into your lovely home. And it was so nice to get to know you, such loving people, and to learn more about your passion for the unreached peoples of the world.
Wow.
My favorite memory of you, Tad and Connie, was when we trekked up to the village of Siabaru, and we met several Christian families who were Helenbu Sherpas. At the edge of that high mountain, there were such beautiful views, and together with your wonderful friends from St. Matthew's, I remember watching you all sing so beautifully and dance so joyously. We could sense that there was so much love and deep warmth among your fellowship, and there was the shared desire that you all had to share the gospel.
My favorite memories of you all have to do with our conversations together. And Tad, I remember when you first came to Nepal, you asked Beth and me quite a number of piercing questions about how we were going to reach the unreached people group, the Tamang people, what we were going to do, what was our strategy, and you kept using that expression, launch 1,000 ships. When we were together in England at Canterbury in 1998, we took a long walk out by some grassy fields, and again, you asked me, among many other questions that you asked, these piercing questions about our strategy, how was it going, what did we want to do, and so forth, and how are we going to get these people reached. I remember also phone calls, letters, emails. So it's really not just any one meeting that I had with you that would be my favorite, but I suppose it's that theme of the favorite theme was that you always ask those incredible questions. And Connie, I think my favorite meetings with you were when we talked about the different things you're interested in and your art, your interests in art and so forth. And your winsome smile, those are my favorite memories. So you saw that Beth and I both were in these t-shirts that we had made in Kathmandu with the original logo that I loved so much and still love. But also I think you noticed that I'm wearing the shirt that I had especially made for you, Tad, because you loved the Kathmandu guest house and named it the international headquarters of AFM. So I had this shirt made, and then you so thoughtfully gave it back to me last year, and I wear it with great honor and joy. So thanks for that, and thanks for all that you've meant to Beth and me over these many years together.
My hope for you is that you would get your heart's desire, that you would have good health, that you would have wonderful experiences with your family, and that you would continue to flourish in your ministry.
My hope for you both is that you would be able to continue to influence others for the spread of the kingdom of God throughout the world, and also to reach the unreached peoples of the earth.
I met Tad, first time I met him, he was the assistant rector at St. Matthew's, and I remember thinking that he was just a little younger and more cool than our regular rector, who I admired, but Tad just had that little bit more, just a little more personal. I felt like personable, I should say. And Connie too, just very friendly and just a great mom, great role model as mom.
My turn? Okay. I met Tad, I don't remember the year, probably mid to late 80s, through John Rowe. John Rowe invited me to St. Matthew's. I think of the first time I met Tad, it was the New Year's Eve service. And I would have met Connie probably at the same time.
That's the first time you met me.
Well, I think that would have been the first time I met anybody connected to St. Matthew's other than John. So, was that was the question?
What was your impression of Kat and Connie?
I probably didn't form much an impression at the time. It was just probably a quick meeting. I mean, probably just an introduction, and that was it. I mean, we were probably, I probably didn't really get to talk to him much, so. Yeah.
Okay, one word, she wants to know one word to describe Tad and one word to describe Connie.
Tad, I would say a true man after God's heart with his vision for reaching the world. Connie is just such a serene and just a pleasant, wonderful person to spend time with. I mean, she just was just really nice to be around.
I agree.
And kind of artsy too, if I recall.
Okay, let me look at my questions here. Let's see. Do you have a memory of Tad and Connie? A special memory?
Well, it'd be hard not to have special memories. I mean, Tad officiated at our wedding, so. Special memories, yeah, I guess I have a few.
Would you care to share them?
Probably a few of them involve Guinness, but I guess my memories of Ted, you know, a lot of it was wrapped up with John and church meetings at the pub with a pint of Guinness, and I think the one thing I really thought was really interesting was when Dad took up the violin. It was a very interesting period listening to Dad practice the violin. I admire him for having the desire to learn an instrument. I wish I could say the same about myself.
He did buy a clarinet, though. He has a clarinet, but he's not practicing. Yeah.
So, just a lot of really happy memories thinking about Dad and Connie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have, growing up in the church, I have a lot of good memories of them at church, and just Tad being so friendly and laid back in the way he ran the church, and just approachable. Just felt really comfortable with him, and felt like he helped us to get to know the Lord very well. And Connie too, just always smiling, always kind, humble, and like I said, just a great role model for us as a mom, as a wife, as an artist. Yeah. Anything you want to wish for them for their 50th anniversary?
I just wish you continued happiness and just continued years of enjoying one another's company and your family.
Adventures.
Many adventures, of course. And you know, what you're doing with AFM is just remarkable. And that's been, for me, one of the more, I think, impressive things about Tad and Connie is, you know, their willingness to reach out to the parts of the world that most people forget about. And it's been eye-opening to see what Tad has been able to accomplish through, you know, his desire to reach the unreached. It's really rewarding to see what they've accomplished. But I do want to mention, you know, we talked about memorable things from Tad. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our rehearsal dinner for our wedding, because it was at Tad's and Connie's house.
Connie made the food.
So it was, you know, it was just a really, just a, you know, great thing for them to do for us. But that keg of Guinness, I'll never forget the keg of Guinness. It made its way from the rehearsal dinner to the wedding reception. Although it didn't make it into the main room, it was sort of the focal point for a lot of the guests at the wedding. They appreciated it. But my one takeaway from Tad is AFM. I mean, that to me is the one thing, if I had to name one thing above all things, it would be AFM. And I really appreciated when we were in Richmond for the memorial service for Chris's dad, to be able to talk to Tad that day. And I had just a great experience talking to him about his book on Paul, and being able to share with him about that. So that was a great experience for me. And I'm still waiting for Tad and Connie to come visit us. We got lots of room for them.
Yeah, so happy anniversary. Well done for 50 years of loving each other and serving the Lord and being a great example to the rest of us. Right?
And as far as events from 1968, it was probably the greatest thing that happened in 1968. I mean, 68 was a bad year. For those of us who are old enough to remember 1968, there were a lot of bad things happen. So it's probably one of the highlights of the year, Tad and Connie getting married. So congratulations, and I wish you continued years of happiness together.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Number 50.
That's a big one. We got to go a long time to get there.
We love you. You married us 25 years ago almost, so happy 50th. Take care. Enjoy the next 50. We love you.
Take care. We love you.
Tad and Connie, 50 years. What a milestone. Do you know that you've been married longer than I have been alive? But just barely. I am holding on to 49 for as long as I can. We were asked to share a memory or how long we've known you. Clearly, you've known me my entire life. I've known you my entire life. But the memory that I came up with, and there are many, so I'm only going to come up with one, or I'm only going to give you one, and that is from, I think it's probably the first memory that I have, and it's when I traveled to Virginia Beach, or it might have been Westmoreland State Park, although I do think it was Virginia Beach, with you as a mother's helper for, it must have been Channing, but possibly Mariah, possibly both of them. Anyway, I remember going to Virginia Beach and walking along the beach and searching for sea glass and walking down that big fishing pier, and I really remember that every single night we would read Goodnight Moon, and we would say, "Where's the mouse? Where's the mouse?" And Mariah or Channing or whoever it was, they would, point at the mouse and they'd giggle their heads off. And it is actually exactly how I read Goodnight Moon or read Goodnight Moon to my children when they were babies. So that's always a very special memory for me. There are so many more, too many to recount, but I just wanted to send you all the most heartfelt special wishes on your 50th anniversary. It's an incredible milestone, and I only hope that I can follow in your footsteps and be married for 50 years as too, although I will probably be 90 when that happens. All right, love you guys. Happy anniversary.
Hi, Tad and Connie. This is Nancy and John Knight,
here to wish you a very happy 50th wedding anniversary and send you many, many thanks for the fun times and great leadership that you have shown to all of us.
Thank you.
Happy
Love you.
anniversary.
Goodbye.
Hey, Tad and Connie, we're here at Bradford University. We just wanted to wish you guys a
happy 50th
anniversary from Cammie, Killian, and I. I hope you guys have many more happy years of good health and much, much happiness.
We're 49 years behind you.
Yeah, love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Tad and Connie. This is Tim and Sue. We have a message for you.
Hey guys, congratulations on your 50th anniversary for being such great role models. For the past 37 years, we've been friends. In spite of some mishaps as a result of you two sharing one phone, you continue to shine. Yep, we owe you a great depth of gratitude for introducing us to city living. We love you.
Happy anniversary, Tad and Connie. We wish you many more years of happiness and adventure together. I met Tad and Connie when they very first moved to Richmond. When Tad first came to St. Matthews, Tad and Connie moved the next street over from us. I lived on Skipwith. They moved on to Normandy. My mother and I walked over to their house with our dog and took them a pound cake. And from that time forward, I babysat for them, I pet sat for them, and was in and out of their house there, and then their house on Stewart Hall. Tad and Connie. I have a lot of really good memories with them, but I think maybe one of my very favorite memories with them is when we were in Nepal. All that time we spent together preparing to go to Nepal, but then I just have these memories of us all together on the roof at the Kathmandu guest house, sharing communion together, meeting together, talking, praying. Those were such very special times together. I think that's just one of my very favorite memories. What do I think has made Tad and Connie's marriage so strong that it's lasted for 50 years? I think there are several factors. One, they made a commitment. They made a commitment in front of God to each other, and they have worked on that every day through the good and the bad, and lived out that commitment. They genuinely love each other. They enjoy each other, and God is at the center of their marriage. Adjectives that describe Tad and Connie: open, hospitable, compassionate.
My wish for you guys would be that you look around the room where you're watching this right now, and you see all the love and all these wonderful people, and that's a reflection of you guys, and how truly wonderful you are. You are two of the very best people that I know. You have been for about as long as I can remember. I don't even know how to talk about memories with you two. Connie, I can tell you that the first Thanksgiving I visited you guys in Richmond, you actually cooked the first Thanksgiving turkey that I enjoyed. I didn't like turkey before that. I thought turkey was terrible. Turns out, I like turkey. So, thank you for that. And Tadpole, I will never forget all the bets you and I made on the UVA Virginia Tech game. And one of these days, UVA is going to beat us again, and I will pay up on that bet. that's something I have. We always had fun with those bets. So, in closing, I just wanted to say I think you guys are absolutely amazing people, and I wish you more happiness and more love and more everything than you could ever expect.
Two ears and one mouth, Eve. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.